Okay, this is essentially part two of the activist encampment video we did earlier today, and it's completely spontaneous. I was not planning on making a part two. Yeah, I had no intention to do this whatsoever. But if you watched that video earlier, there was the second half. We looked at the encampment stories that were being posted, and we tried to see if we could find any sort of conversation about those encampments on the R Politics subreddit, which is the biggest subreddit, the biggest political thread on the internet, effectively. And we couldn't find anything. It was incredibly strange. We used multiple searches. We couldn't find anything related to the encampment or UCLA, which is where this specific story was referencing. But the reason I'm making this second video now is because I got a little curious. I decided to play around a little, and I actually logged in and I went on the R Politics subreddit and said, "All right, what happens if I just take a link to one of these articles about the encampment and just throw it on the site? I just so there's one of them out there, just see what happens." I never posted on R Politics before. It was kind of just a little, hey, let's do this experiment and see what happens and see if it sheds any light on why there isn't any content about this on this page right now. So I did exactly that. The first time I took an article, it was from a local station. I don't remember what it was called, but immediately as I posted it, it got removed. The post was immediately removed by a bot because for some reason, I didn't know this, but this subreddit has a designated list of approved domains. I imagine was just created by the mods that dictates which sources can actually be linked to a post on this subreddit, which is it's crazy. I'd be really curious to see that list. I'd be really curious to know what names are on that list. But there's no way for us to know that. The only thing we do know is that the mods have complete discretion. So that post was removed. I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess that's part of the rules. Fair enough. Let's try again. So I found another article. It was from a larger website. So I did the same thing. I posted it, and for the title, I think I said, "What do you guys think of these protests or these encampments?" Or just a general inquisitive title. That one was also removed immediately because, and I didn't know this. This is my fault, but I suppose, or I guess, the any post, the title has to be the headline of the link that you provide. I didn't know that. So that got taken down immediately. I was like, okay, let's try it one more time. And I did the same thing, except for the title, I just threw on what the headline of the actual article was. And it stayed up for about 15, 20 minutes. I actually got a little bit of engagement, mostly the type of engagement that might be expected, but still it was up there. But after a short period of time, like I said, 15, 20 minutes, it got manually removed by one of the mods for being, you can look at it here, for being off topic. Now, this one may be a little bit more confused because we're in the R Politics subreddit. This is the biggest subreddit, one of the biggest subreddits, and the biggest political thread on all of the internet. And the link that we're referencing, that we're talking about, is specifically about a political protest on a reputable, well-known college campus surrounding one of the biggest conflicts we have dealt with in the past few years. And that's off topic to politics. That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. But it actually kind of does make sense because, like we were looking at earlier, there had to have been a reason, right? Why there's no discussion on this page at all about these topics. There's nothing. We looked that up. We looked it up. But this shows pretty clearly, pretty demonstrably, that it's actually the product of this is an active censorship. It's an active suppression. And they don't even care if like most of the comments are one way. They don't even want these headlines being talked about. They don't even want them being looked at or referenced. This is the clearest example of controlling or swaying a narrative that you could possibly conceive of. And no one talks about this. I don't understand why this isn't a little bit more. And it's tricky because you can't call us out. You can't bring these things up. Man, you can even post these links. So if you try to do it within the subreddit, your comment will not only be removed, you're gone. They'll kick you out. They do it without discretion. And it's a completely authoritarian system. There's no accountability. There's no way for you to even get in touch with the mods or refer the mods if they block you. So it's a clear-cut example of ghosts, faceless, nameless people like myself. It's the clearest example of nobodies. They have no right, they have no reason to dictate what people get to talk about and see. The only reason is because it doesn't really make them feel good, or they don't really like the direction the conversation is going. That's exactly what it is. But there's nothing you can do about it. And this is 8.5 million people. I don't care at all about these people who sit online and they absorb these things religiously. But like what I would be more worried about are people who are maybe younger that recognize how useful the internet is as a resource, and they look for these types of threads and they come across a subreddit like this and they're like, oh, this is a pretty good place to have a discussion. But there's no one there to tell them. There's no one there to offer them like a second opinion on what some of the underlying motives for a lot of these places might be. So that's the only reason I care. It's because people get deceived. But this is as clear as you can show, as clear as you can demonstrate that there is like an active attempt to suppress an entire topic. And no one's going to call it out. So it's like, all right, I'll make a video and I'll touch on it. But this seems really, really bad. It seems like a really, really bad place to be. Even if internet is the internet's not real life. But if you don't think this has more deeply rooted consequences, well, I guess we will see. So, but join the Discord because I'm trying to build a small but like close community of people who are like aware of these things, that the bells are kind of going off, and they want a place where they can maybe bring some of these ideas up without like being afraid, just having an authentic discussion. That's really all that this is, really. It's really simple as that. So